What is up everyone, and welcome to some more F1 23 My Team Career Mode. Last time out, we were at the Hungarian Grand Prix, and after we were on what I perceived to be a pretty good strategy, we unfortunately got caught out by a red flag and could only finish P14, and yeah, for the first time in quite a few races, failed to score points. So that was a little bit of a disappointing situation, but I mean, that's where our car should be, really, unfortunately, at the moment. You know, we're one of the worst cars on the grid, and there's no real suggestion that we should be scoring points in any race. So the fact that we were on such a good streak was honestly the anomaly, and maybe now we'll be starting to move into a part of the season where we won't be scoring so many points, but we'll see. We got to redo this upgrade because it failed. That's 500 resource points in the bin, but it is what it is. And yeah, this time we are going to be at the Belgian Grand Prix, which I am very excited for, because as I've mentioned before on this channel, it is one of my favorite tracks on the F1 calendar, maybe second only to Silverstone, and yeah, I think that we have the potential to do pretty well here. I could say for certain that I think that I'm going to be on for at least a point or two, you know, considering where we've been in previous tracks that I've done well at, including Silverstone, where of course we qualified P3. Yes, we only came home in P10 in the end, but still, if we can do that at Silverstone, I think we can do that here as well. We're going to be replacing our gearbox. We're going to be going on to our last gearbox, one more, and we'll need to take a penalty. We're really struggling with durability this season, and I think we're going to be fraught with penalties once we get to the Americas stage of the season. You know, we've still got, what, 10, 11 races left this season, and we're already going on to some of our final components. It's not boding well. But in any case, we're going to see if we can persevere through the lack of durability that our components have to try and get some good points finishes as the season goes on. We were actually fastest in practice, and this wasn't a rained off session, so I was a little bit surprised that no one went faster. You know, I went out early in the session. There was no rain. There was nothing like that. So the fact that we were fastest was just pure pace. I don't think we'll be fastest in qualifying. I would be very surprised if we're on pole position, but certainly that suggests that we'll have the pace to quite comfortably get through to Q3, and maybe we'll be able to challenge in sort of the upper echelons again. But yeah, I mean, who knows? It tends to fluctuate massively, is something I've noticed lately about this game, and that can be quite frustrating when you're trying to gauge exactly where your pace is. You know, to go fastest in practice and then find yourself, you know, maybe slightly further off the pace in quali, and then, you know, not even on points finish pace in the race can be a bit annoying. But hopefully that won't happen here today. You know, I want to score a good few points. You know, Hungary, even being out of the points for one race was enough for Haas to re-overtake us for P7 in the Constructors. Obviously our sponsor target is for P8, but we want to get all the money we can get for finishing as high in the Constructors as we possibly can. So yeah, we come around now on our first flying lap of Q1. We're on a fresh set of soft compound tyres, and we do a 143.9. We just about sneak into the 143s. And I think that there's definitely more pace in the car. However, we'll see. Maybe that will be good enough in itself to see us through to Q2. And indeed, it's looking likely, isn't it? We don't improve because the tyres are completely gone off. We went on the same set of tyres again, and we're firmly in the 144s. But yeah, it's 11th place. And yeah, we're through to Q2, no problems. We will need to find a bit more pace than that in Q2 if we want to make a Q3 appearance. But yeah, still, I'm fairly optimistic about the pace of our car, about where we are. You know, we're only really behind sort of the Alpines, the Aston Martins, and that kind of thing. It's Hulkenberg, Stroll, Tsunoda, De Vries, Sargent, and Fittipaldi in last. So yeah, a little bit disappointing. But yeah, those are the drivers eliminated. But yeah, it's what, the Alpines, Aston Martins, and then the top three that seem to be ahead of us, barring Stroll, who got eliminated in Q1. Very disappointing performance from him, but I'm sure that he'll be able to hopefully perform well in the race. I feel like they've kind of nailed that realism as we come up to the line to do a 143.5 on our first flying lap. We nailed that realism of Stroll not being amazing in qualifying, but then when we get to the race, it seems like he's always in the top 10. I don't know how he manages it. But yeah, here we are now, finished in Q2. That 143.5 we did was more than enough. And thank goodness, because we really did a really poor lap again on the same set of tyres, but we crossed the line. It's P9. We probably maybe should have gone again, but you know, I'm not going to stress too much. And yeah, we're through to Q3 again. We got through in Hungary, of course, but we had that penalty, which meant that we didn't start in the top 10. But yeah, we're through. Both McLaren, oh no, not both McLarens, but one of the McLarens, Piastri, eliminated, and also the Alpine of Gasly and the Aston Martin of Alonso. So yeah, there's a Haas of Magnussen actually through to Q3 on this occasion. Seems like the inverse is happening of what's happening in real life here, where it's Magnussen getting through to Q3 a lot, and Hülkenberg seems to be eliminated in Q1 more often than not. Which obviously is the opposite of what seems to be happening in real life at the moment. But yeah, we're on another fresh set of softs. It's 143.8, which means there's definitely room for improvement. We did a 143.5 in Q2, so I know that we've got room for improvement. And we have one more set of softs. We got a little bit held up by Leclerc there, unfortunately. But we're still sort of 2/10 up, so if we can have a good run through the bus stop chicane, then maybe we can find ourselves sort of 3 or 4 tenths up come the finish line, but we'll see what's going to happen. I don't think we'll be higher than 7th no matter what happens, because Leclerc's in a 143.0. I don't see us improving by 8 tenths. Feels like everyone's really saved the best for last here. And yeah, as we come to the final corner, I make a bit of a mistake there, and that kind of sabotages my lap, unfortunately. Which means yeah, we're gonna be P8. But that's not a bad position to be starting in. If we can get a good start in well, it'll be the sprint before it's the race, then yeah, maybe we have the potential to do something good here. It's Hamilton on pole, and he's having a really strong run of form recently, and perhaps getting himself involved in the championship fight a little bit even. It seems like there really is a big fight going on at the top between Hamilton and both of the Ferraris. Russell is in there as well. Verstappen too. It seems like Perez is really the only one from the top 3 teams that I would say isn't a factor in that, but he's had some shocking reliability this season. We take the lead in our rivalry with Pierre Gasly, which I am very happy about, because I would like to win a rivalry. So far we've only done one rivalry before that, and it was a draw. So yeah, it'd be nice if we could win and maybe up the difficulty a little bit. It would make a marked change from F1 22, where I had to drop the difficulty about 10 times before I actually won a rivalry. But I started on a higher difficulty this year than I started last year's game on, and I mean, yeah, I went from 90 to sort of about 81 at one point. I think was the lowest I was at in last year's game, and in this year's game, you know, I started at 95, and seems like we're going to be working our way up potentially if things continue the way that they've been going here in Spa, and then in the next race in the Netherlands. But anyway, that's enough rambling about difficulty levels. It's time to get into the sprint for the Belgian Grand Prix.
Welcome to today's sprint. This is shaping up to be another fantastic weekend. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Norris, Sainz, Verstappen, Leclerc, Russell, Robinson, Ocon, Magnussen, Oscar Piastri, Gasly, Albon, Fernando Alonso, Joe, Bottas, Hülkenberg, Stroll, Tsunoda, Sargent, De Vries, Sargent. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint.
Trackside indeed, but yeah, it seems like he's got nothing to say on this occasion, so I will fill for the short amount of time that we can stare at the Kemmel Straight before we get into the race. Maybe we'll be doing some overtaking here today. Who knows? And yeah, we'll see whether we can make something happen from P8 on the grid, get some points in the sprint. Maybe would be nice. No words from Mark either on this occasion, so at least that was a bit seamless and there wasn't interruptions and whatnot. But yeah, now we are going to be getting into the formation lap, and we'll see if we can park up on the grid nicely to hopefully get a good getaway in the sprint itself. You know, I'm pretty optimistic of our chances of getting at least a point here. You know, we got some fast cars starting behind us. You know, Alpines, Hasses, McLarens, but yeah, Norris with an amazing qualifying, by the way, up in P3. I feel like I didn't put enough emphasis on that, but yeah, it was really impressive what he was doing there. And yeah, I mean, we'll just see what we can do now as the lights get ready now to come on. And the lights go out, and we've gotten away very well compared to George Russell, and compared to Leclerc, and compared to Norris. And yeah, we're going to dive up the inside of Sainz, almost going to the back of Verstappen, get squeezed to the inside, go over the curb. But for some reason, they don't make me give the place back to Verstappen, which I don't understand at all. And yes, that is how you make up 5 positions off of the starting line, in case you guys were wondering. I can't quite believe that that's real, but it happened. And yeah, that's us up into the P3 podium position, but not for very long, I imagine, because here comes Max Verstappen trying to close us down, trying to get back past us at the end of the Kemmel Straight. Will he be able to do it? Yes, he will. He has the inside line and a lot more grip by the looks of things. I don't really understand why he had so much more grip than me, but he did. So yeah, that's a bit bizarre. But yeah, we'll move on from this, and hopefully we can. Hopefully we can continue to hold on to at least some of the positions we have. I don't think we'll be getting back at a Red Bull. They are still the fastest car in Formula 1 after all. But yeah, we definitely have the potential to hold on to some of these positions here. Coming under pressure from George Russell behind now. And it looks like he's going to be attempting to go for a move up the inside here as well. But we managed to hold on for the time being. And we squeeze him out a little bit and hold on to P4. But I think it's going to be a matter of when rather than if for George Russell. He has significantly better pace. The Mercedes looking far pacier than they've looked at the beginning of the season in real life. But then again, they have been starting to come back into the season a little bit in real life. So yeah, maybe, who knows? We have to be proper pinched to the inside of the corner there, but we managed to hold on. And yeah, Sainz has to bide his time to see if he can get past me. Not long in the sprint, of course. Only 8 laps, because it is such a long circuit. You know, any longer and it would just be absolutely ridiculous. I feel like even 8 laps, I was expecting it might be 7 possibly. But yeah, here we are now on lap 4, and we're coming under pressure from Carlos Sainz. Meanwhile, Verstappen and Russell have gapped me quite significantly, but we're going to see if we can get ahead or stay ahead of as many cars as we can. Carlos Sainz has made the move for the time being, but we're going to see if we can go around his outside at the bus stop chicane. He brakes a lot later. The braking performance of that Ferrari is something to behold, or maybe the braking performance of our car, along with the fact that we wear out the tyres very quickly, is perhaps something that we need to work on here. But yeah, either way, we're currently in what is this, P6, and we're going to see if maybe we can get back past the Ferrari and into to P5 again. That would make my day if we could get a P5 finish. It would tie our strongest finish that we've had in Formula 1, which was in Austria. We should have probably had P3 in that race, but there was a red flag glitch, unfortunately, that bumped us down to P5. You know, I'm going to count it on what the points were rather than what the finishing positions were, because at the end of the day, that's actually going to affect gameplay going forward. We made a bit of contact there with Sainz, but we did manage to get back past him, and we're back up into P5. So yeah, I'd be very happy if we could hold on to this for the remainder of the race. Now as we move through to lap 7, you can see that Leclerc, Sainz's teammate, is actually the driver who has overtaken his way into P6 and now into P5 as well as he gets past us. And I mean, we're getting a lot of slipstream from him as we go through Blanchimont there, and we're going to see if maybe we can go up the inside of him at the bus stop chicane. This time we brake a little bit later, we understand the braking performance of our car a little bit better, and we're able to hold on. But I wonder if this actually might not be the smartest idea, because that's going to give him DRS as we go through the Kemmel Straight, and I might not be able to hold on through that. So as we come through turn 1, I'm thinking maybe that this is going to be over, and we actually get a bit of a snap there, a bit of oversteer, and that is definitely going to allow Leclerc into the fight. If I had not made a mistake before, that definitely could be considered a mistake. And I mean, he is hounding me, breathing down my neck there in P6, 1/10 behind. I think we won't have to worry about Sainz. I think we will be able to hold on from him no matter what happens. over a second down on us at the time being. We're going to see if we can capitalise on some slipstream from Leclerc, but I think that is him gone. I don't think that we're going to have an option to get ahead of him before the end of the sprint now. And yeah, that might have been me fumbling the bag a little bit, you could say. But yeah, we're going to just see what we can do and see if we can hold on to the end of the sprint to at least this P6 position. Not lose out to Leclerc's teammate Carlos Sainz. That would be the ideal scenario. And yeah, we'll see if we can regroup in the race to maybe get ahead of the Ferraris once again. But considering these are the championship leaders, you know, Sainz and Leclerc, 5 points separated the two of them at the top of the table going into this weekend. I don't think that they'll be too miffed about this. Or rather, I think they will be quite miffed about this, because this has potentially cost them the championship lead. Me holding them up as much as I have as we cross the line to take P6. That'll be 3 hard-earned points for us in the sprint, and yeah, we'll see if we can convert this P6 into a solid points finish in the race. Also, Max Verstappen, driver of the day, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with the pace we showed there.
And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table.
The gap at the top of the championship has been cut down after a difficult race today for our championship leader.
The grid is set then, so that just leaves the race itself. Join us tomorrow, where we'll be live with all the action. And until then, goodbye.
It will not be easy for us to score points tomorrow. Just because we scored points today, I think you can chalk it all up to that absolutely lightning start we had. I was struggling with the tyres quite a lot. I don't know if you saw, but they were nearly 50% worn by the end of the sprint, because yeah, the tyre wear is quite significant. So I think there's no chance that I will be using a set of softs tomorrow. We don't have that tyre wear upgrade that we started last video on the car yet. And that is definitely going to affect our tyre wear for sure. And yeah, we've got a lot of fast cars who might be able to get ahead of us on pace or strategy, whether it's the Alpines, the Aston Martins, the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz. You know, there's a lot of guys there who I think would so dearly love to take that position off me. And we're going to have to be absolutely clinical, absolutely ruthless in the race if we want to hold on to even 1 point. Never mind the 8 that we would score for finishing P6 if we could. But yeah, we will think about that more at the end of the race if we finish in that position. For now, I'm just going to focus on what we can do, what we can achieve, and yeah, we will see whether we are able to score any points as we get into the Belgian Grand Prix.
It's the Belgian Grand Prix, the site of the maiden victory of the Jordan team in 1998. The venue that Michael Schumacher made his debut in Formula One. There is so much history here amongst the beautiful nature. We are about to go racing through the Ardennes Forest, 4.3 miles of long straights, fast corners and huge elevation changes. Turn 1 at La Source moves straight into Eau Rouge, eventually climbing into Raidillon. They are corner names to get the heart pumping. It's old school and we adore it. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, edging out Sergio Perez, who lines up P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Russell, Leclerc, Robinson, Sainz, Ocon, Gasly, Fernando Alonso, Oscar Piastri, Norris, Joe, Stroll, Hulkenberg, Bottas, Magnussen, Tsunoda, Sargent, De Vries, Albon, De Vries. That's it then. It's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. Anthony Davidson joins me again for the race today. Why don't we kick off by discussing Max Verstappen, joined once again by Anthony Davidson in the commentary box. And they've suffered a grid penalty due to taking a new engine. It could mean a tough race in store.
Everyone has to deal with penalties or reliability issues from time to time throughout their career. You just have to suck up the pain and get on with the job at hand. Today isn't about performing a miracle to put the car back where it should be. It's about effective damage limitation.
Once again, no words of encouragement from Mark. He doesn't want to say anything about us getting into the top 10 or anything like that. He's just going to leave me to my own devices. One funny thing I noticed is that the personalized default and alternate strategies were exactly the same. So I guess I'm doing medium hard because there's nothing else that they think I will be able to do. They don't suggest I go on the softs, which I think is wise, given how much I burnt out the set of softs, or the set of mediums I was on in the sprint. So yeah, we'll see if we can do anything here. Surrounded by all of these soft compound runners, Russell, Leclerc, Sainz, and Ocon, all of the drivers in my immediate vicinity. Looks like Verstappen is on the red marked soft tyres as well. So yeah, we're gonna be in for a bit of a struggle here, and any position that we can hold on to is going to be incredibly hard fought, I think. But yeah, here we go now. We're getting ready to go once again as the lights come on. And the lights go out, and for the second time this weekend, we have had a pretty good getaway, I would say. We were already challenging Sainz off the start. We have to back out a little bit to avoid going into the back of Russell. We are going to try going around the outside of him, and we actually managed to pull it off. And we are up into P4 off of the start. So once again, we've had a pretty blistering start. It's not quite 5 positions gained this time, but I will take 2. And yeah, we're now going to see if we can hold off the Mercedes man, George Russell. But you can see he is already closing me down on the Kemmel straight. And despite the fact that I was burning a little bit of battery, I didn't want to burn too much. We're going to be wheel to wheel. He's going to be a little bit ahead, but I brake later into the corner, and that allows me to take the position off him. You can see that Sergio Perez ahead is actually on the medium tyres as well, and he's managed to get ahead of his teammate Max Verstappen here as well. So yeah, very impressive performance there from Checo, and yeah, maybe he'll even be able to challenge Hamilton ahead for the victory. Who knows? I think Hamilton's on the softs, but I'm not 100% sure of that. But yeah, we've managed to make our way into to P4 for the time being, and we've actually managed to hold on to it this time. We haven't dropped a ton of positions just yet, as we get another corner cut warning on the first lap, like we did in the sprint, which this time was for Pouon. We went slightly too wide. But yeah, we're doing well, you know, especially considering these guys are on the soft tyres. I think their tyres will go off quite quickly, but then again, I think my tyres will go off quite quickly because I'm an absolute menace on them at the moment. You know, I'm really starting to feel like I fully admit that trail braking is not something I'm particularly good at, and I'm not particularly effective at doing it at the moment. So yeah, maybe I need to start practicing a little bit of trail braking here and there to make sure that I can maximise the tyre life, because I'm definitely taking a lot out of them at the moment. And if I wasn't playing with ABS, then certainly I think it would be even more tragic than that. But yeah, for the first lap at least, we managed to hold on to P4. But now as we move on to the following lap, you can see that actually things got a little bit brighter there. So yeah, I guess the weather's getting nicer here in Spa. But Max Verstappen has broken out of the 1 second DRS range, and Leclerc is very much within my 1 second DRS range. So I think he's going to be putting on some pressure pretty goddamn quickly, and maybe even making this move up into P5. He's going to try and go out the inside here at the chicane, but he doesn't manage to make it stick on this occasion. And yeah, we're still holding on to P4 for the time being. Lap 5 now. You can see that Leclerc has actually fallen away a little bit. I think he's actually battling a car issue, which might not surprise Ferrari fans to learn. And it's actually George Russell, the Mercedes man, once again, who is putting some pressure on us. This time he's going to try and go to the inside at the Kemmel Straight, and he actually makes the move with the DRS by the time we're at the corner. I tried to come back at him late on the brakes, but no matter what I did, I just couldn't quite get back at him. Leclerc and Sainz battling away behind, and yeah, by the time we make it to lap 8, Leclerc's nowhere to be seen. He's fallen behind both Alpines and both Aston Martins as well at this stage. And yeah, it is going to be Carlos Sainz now trying to close us down for P5 on the track. I don't want to give this up. I'm surprised that these guys still have much to fight with in their tyres, but they do, and that just means that I'm going to have to do everything I can to try and fight my way through the field, and defend as many positions as I can. You know, try not to lose out to Ocon and Gasly behind. Lap 10 now, and a few cars have pitted, and we are going to be joining them in the pit lane. It's going to be Russell and Sainz just ahead of us, also in the pits. I'm not sure if whoever is in first has pitted yet. I don't think so. That is one of the Red Bulls. Maybe Perez? Yeah, it is Perez because Verstappen has pitted. So yeah, we'll see where Perez comes out after his pit stop, whether he's still ahead of us or not. I imagine he probably will be because he was quite far up the road. We're at an optimal turn-in. Do we get a fast stop on this occasion? Yes, we do. Awesome. We don't have any issues this time. They actually double stack us, but I think me and Enzo Fittipaldi were far enough apart that it was able to work. We've closed down Sainz a little bit in the pit stop phase. I guess we had a faster stop than him, but that doesn't stop him from starting to pull away now as we move on to the end of lap 11. And we're coming under pressure from the Alpine driver Esteban Ocon. That all-French lineup working very well for them this season as they're battling with McLaren for P5 in the constructors, as one might expect. And yeah, we're going to try and go up the inside of him at the bus stop chicane. He gives us a bit of room, but I'm not able to make the move on this occasion. We try and go for the switchback on him, and actually it has managed to work on this occasion. So yeah, very, very impressive maneuver from us as we now try and go around the outside of Esti Besti there. And yeah, we're fighting tooth and nail, the two of us. I don't know who's going to prevail in this battle between the two of us. But yeah, it's going to be a hard-fought scrap regardless of what happens. We actually make a bit of contact there. The game gives me a warning for it, which I'm not really sure where they expected me to go. But that allows both Alonso and Ocon to get past me, and Alonso actually to make up 2 positions there on both me and his former teammate Esteban Ocon. But not for long, Esteban on those better tyres, the medium tyres, managing to make it work. And now as we move through to lap 14, you can see that it is quite a big gap in front of us, and it's Esteban Ocon's current teammate Pierre Gasly who is able to get past us as we just before we get into Blanchimont here. I'm going to try and see if I can get back at him into the bus stop chicane with a little bit of slipstream, try and go out the inside. He closes the door though, and that is going to be the end of any attempt at making a move there. So yeah, we're now moving on to lap 15, and Hamilton has some kind of car issue which is causing him to go quite slowly, and that has kind of backed Alonso and Gasly into me once again. Ocon's managed to get through, but Alonso is like glued to the gearbox of Hamilton, can't seem to make the move no matter what he does, and maybe we will be able to capitalise on this to try and get ahead of someone, at least ahead of Hamilton if nothing else, and back into P8. But we'll see what Alonso and Gasly can do. They don't seem to be able to overtake him no matter what they try. And now we're going to try and go to the inside, and we dive up the inside of both Alonso and Gasly and make a double overtake into the bus stop chicane. We have the outside line, which is going to give us the better traction on the exit of the chicane. And yes, we are now up into P7, 2 moves in 1 sweep. And yeah, very, very impressive maneuver coming out from us. Let's see now if we can put some pressure on Lewis Hamilton to take P6. He's got that car issue. We're going to burn a lot of battery as we come up Radion. We got a little bit wide actually, but I don't think that's going to matter too much as we continue burning the battery. We're going to have the DRS now, and yeah, if he's got an issue, it's not surprising to learn that he is going to just be an absolute sitting duck in a straight line, and we've made our way back into P6, which is where we started this race. So yeah, looking pretty good at the moment, and yeah, we'll see if we're able to hold this as we move through the race. Alonso now piling a bit more pressure on me once again as we move on to P18, lap 18, and yeah, only 5 laps to go, so we'll see if we can hold on for as long as we can, but he will have the DRS. I'm going to burn a little bit of battery, maybe, nope, apparently not. So yeah, I think it is going to be a maneuver for him, and we'll have to see if we can get back at him later. Comes up the inside, dives up the inside, and by the time we get to the corner, he's completely ahead. I think about going for a switchback on him, but he positions his car beautifully. You know that Alonso is a master of defense. You've seen it time and time again in Formula 1, and that is the end of my reign in P6 possibly for the remainder of this race. We'll see how many positions we can hold on to. I think Hamilton's issue might have fixed itself by now as we're looking at Logan Sargent, who is going to become the first retirement of this race. We were very close to having a race with no retirements. You know, we're on what, lap 18? Only a few laps left to go, and yeah, it's disappointing to see that he will be pulling off to the side of the road, but perhaps you know, it had to happen at some point. Someone had to go, and in this case it was Logan Sargent. Wasn't running in any kind of good position or anything like that, so it's no great tragedy. And yeah, now we move on to lap 19, where it's Lewis Hamilton piling the pressure on us, and we will see if we can hold on to the position from him. But in that faster Mercedes on those faster medium tyres with no car issue, just like I breezed past him earlier, he's going to breeze past me and bully me back down into P8. And yeah, I really don't want to lose any more positions, because next up is my rival Pierre Gasly, And actually, yeah, as we move now onto lap 22, you can see that I am pinned to the gearbox of Fernando Alonso, and we are going to see if we can get ahead of him to make our way into P7. And yeah, he does have the DRS on Hamilton ahead, but with the slipstream, I'm just marginally faster. We move to his outside. Who's going to be ahead as we go through the chicane now? Is he going to battle me? Not too hard. And yeah, we've made our way back through to P7. So very impressive maneuver coming out from us. And it's been non-stop this race. It seems like we've been moved up in battles, whether we are overtaking or being overtaken. It's always something. I don't think we're going to be able to close down Hamilton before the end of the race. He's just a little bit too far ahead. There are no real overtaking opportunities between here and now, apart from into the bus stop chicane, but you'd need to be closer to have that happen. The only person that's likely to make an overtake into the bus stop chicane now is going to be Fernando Alonso. But we're going to see if we can do everything we can, harvest as much battery as we can before we get to the run down to the bus stop chicane and through Blanchimont to try and harvest and burn all the battery that we have. Once we get there, we're coming through what is the final the corner that you have to really sort of take maybe with a bit of a lift, and it's going to be flat now before the bus stop chicane. And I think that Alonso is maybe just a little bit too far behind. I'm not sure. He's pretty close, and actually got a bit too eager there. Maybe went over the curb. Maybe caused a bit of damage to the car. Who knows? But as we round the final corner, I think we are going to hold on to this, and we are going to cross the line to take P7. It's our second best finish in Formula 1. 6 points earned, and that will definitely move us back into P7 in the Constructors' Championship, so I can't be too disappointed with that. It was a very hard-fought race. Esteban Ocon gets driver of the day, not surprised. I think he finished like 5th or 4th, and wow.
Red Bull today, what a superb victory. Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently. It's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be proud of the victory they've secured here.
And there is Checo, proving the haters wrong, proving that he still can compete, even though he's quite far off the championship fight. We will see exactly what the gap is looking like in just a moment. But yeah, it looks like Sergio Perez wanted to quiet his doubters. Toothless George Russell once again on the podium, and Max Verstappen in second. So yeah, it's a good day for Red Bull, especially after they've been struggling compared to Ferrari. And I'm sure they'll be very happy with that performance.
So let's see how the drivers' standings have changed.
Carlos Sainz extends his lead at the top, getting ever closer to securing the championship.
Let's focus on driver of the day, Anthony Davidson. Who do you pick?
Max Verstappen seemed to just effortlessly weave through the other drivers today without a care in the world. He was definitely my driver of choice.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. No change in the top spot, but with today's points, their hold on the lead is getting weaker. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula 1.
Right then, well, yeah, like I said, it's a very tight battle at the top between the 5 drivers, both Mercedes, both Ferraris and Verstappen. Perez still 81 points adrift of Sainz, despite the fact that he got 32 points here for a P2 in the sprint and a win in the race itself. He's still so far off. Meanwhile, further adrift, we are currently in P9 in the championship, and there's a big battle from who is it? Norris in P8 down to sort of Stroll in 13th, which that battle includes who does it include? Me, Piastri, Norris, Stroll, and both Alpines. So yeah, it's looking pretty feisty there. It'd be interesting to see who comes out on top. I'd like it to be me. I can't help feeling like if Fittipaldi was putting in some slightly better performances this season, then maybe we'd even be able to see him help us contend for that P6 and maybe even P5 in the Constructors instead. But yeah, because he's just not able to do what I'm doing right now, it's meaning that we're finding ourselves down in P7 in the constructors. It's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. You know what you sign up for in the first season of a Formula One My Team career mode. But I definitely do have to start asking questions about whether we retain the services of Enzo Fittipaldi for next season, or whether we try and get someone a little bit more ambitious. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think we should we keep hold of Enzo for another season? Should we try and sign another Formula 2 driver? Should we sign someone who's already on the grid? Who do you think is going to be cheap enough and want to go for it? I don't think there's going to be too many people, but I would quite like to sign maybe someone slightly more experienced to help us develop the car slightly faster. I'm thinking someone like Hulkenberg or Magnussen, someone who isn't going to be too expensive, but at the same time has a lot of experience under their belt to help us push the car forward. I think that both of them could be potentially a good shout. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below, and yeah, I'd love to hear what you have to say on the matter. Either way, we're looking good in the championship. We're still on target to reach our sponsorship goals, so I'm not too pressed at the time being. It looks like we actually made contact with Alonso there on the final lap. I didn't notice that, if that was the case in the race itself, but yeah, it looked like that was me slightly going into the side of his front wing. So yeah, a little bit weird there. But in any case, that is pretty much it for the Belgian Grand Prix. Next up is going to be the Dutch Grand Prix, and I'd be very surprised if anyone other than Verstappen wins that one, given the current trend. We've seen Sainz win his home race, Hamilton win his home race. I think that Leclerc won his home race as well, although I could be wrong about that one. And yeah, I think that it will have to be a Dutch victory, but who knows? Maybe it could be De Vries. No, I'm just kidding. It won't be De Vries. If it's De Vries, then I'll end the series early. If De Vries wins in Zandvoort, then that will be the end of F123 My Team career mode. And on that bombshell, I will leave you. That is the end of the video. If you enjoyed, then please make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you so much for the support, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.